get into today's live stream lecture. If you have not hit that subscribe button, hit it now. Support my channel, subscribe to my channel. And I really do want to thank all of my subscribers and followers and supporters, and I really do mean this, for supporting my channel by watching my videos, by sending me questions, even thumbs up, comments. You know, this platform, Marie Holiday YouTube platform, this channel, it would not be possible without my supporters and my followers to make this happen. You know, my channel is really, really intended to be educational, motivational, thought-provoking, informative information that can assist a person in making powerful changes in their life. Rather, it's about, you know, budgeting or financing or learning or educational material. If I do a topic on you know, how to spot a predator, I may do a topic on the benefits of having a positive mindset. I may do a topic on recognizing when a person has relapse on alcohol, drugs. You know, these topics, I have no doubt, if you are human and you really sit down and take a look at many of my various topics, I have no doubt you can gain some valuable information from what I'm presenting in the time that I put in behind the scene to do my due diligence, to do my research, you know, to present these topics. And many of these topics also are presented based on life experience, on what I've learned throughout my life. So I really do want to thank everyone for supporting my channel. We need, and I need for the world to hear this, we need to continue to have people on these platforms who are presenting information of value, you know, because this world is so problem focused. We need as many people on these social media platforms who is presenting information of value that the user, the listener can use. So with that being said, you know, let's get down to a very important live stream lecture. The focus of this lecture is I'm going to present powerful information about the federal student loan, 3 important documents that tie into making sure you are doing what you need to do to get your federal student loan forgiven when the time comes. You know, we got many people who have graduated from college or this year, and parents, you owe it to yourself to make sure if your child, if your young adult child has a federal student loan, make sure they're doing the paperwork to enroll in this program. So when they have met all of their qualifying payments, the remaining balance of that associate's degree or that bachelor's or that master's or that PhD will be zeroed out, so they will not be in debt for the rest of their life. I'm here to tell you. So here we go. I'm going to talk about 3 powerful forms, federal forms, that must be completed. 2 of them must be completed on a yearly basis. I'm going to talk about the income-driven replayment plan requests. This form ties into setting the amount that you pay on your federal student loan affordable to you based on your income. That's one document that I'm going to go over. The second very powerful federal student loan document is the employment certification form that must be renewed every year. And the third powerful document is the public service loan forgiveness temporary expanded certification application. This is also interchangeable with that waiver, that if this waiver where the federal government is now, once a person submits this application, this application serves 2 purposes: going in and giving individuals credit for payment that otherwise would not have been counted, and this form will also come into play at a later date, but I'm going to go a little bit more into this when I get ready to explain this form. So these three powerful forms, you got to pay attention to the detail. You know, I want to share with the audience that May of 2023, which is right around the corner, I will have met all of the requirements for the remaining balance of my master's degree to be zeroed out. You know, a Fed loan, which is pretty, my loan has been transferred to Mohilla, but when they analyzed my account and the outcome of the information they sent me, when May of 2023 come, I will have met all of my requirements, and the remaining balance of my master's degree school loan will be zeroed out. So first of all, I want to talk about the income-driven replayment plan. This form has to be renewed every year, you know, and what this form pretty much is that the income-driven replayment plan on this form is self-explanatory. You know, and number one says, select the reason you are submitting this form, check only one. There's 4 options, but the federal government is recommending that you're submitting this form because I am submitting documentation for the annual recertification of my income-driven replayment plan. That is the purpose of this form, to ensure your monthly school loan bill is affordable to you based off your income. Because if you don't submit this form, then the amount that they say they may want you to pay is $900 a month. And most people ain't gonna be able to afford no $900 a month. That's why you need to do the income-driven repayment form. Also on this form, it talks about, it says number 2, choose a plan and then continue to item 3. On number 2, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. And the option that I check is I'm choosing, I want the income-driven repayment plan with the lowest monthly payment. That's the one I want. I don't want the one with the high payment. I want my monthly schooling loan bill to be the lowest. And then again, as you read through this, it is just self-explanatory. This form can be downloaded, and I recommend that everybody have extra copies of this form and read it in brevity. Also on this form, it asks, do you have multiple loan holders or services? You're going to either check yes or no. Number 4 on the form, are you currently in deferment or forbearance? You're going to either check yes or no. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been in this program, you know, getting ready to head towards 10 years of doing what I need to do to get ready to get my federal student loan wiped out. And I pay attention to detail. I read the fine print. And when my due date come every year for me to resubmit this, I'm going to submit it 3 months early. Also on this income-driven repayment form, when you go to the next page, you know, it's going to ask, what is your marital status? Number 7. Number 8, does your spouse have a federal student loan? For most people, those questions might not apply. So if it don't apply, you're going to check the applicable checkbox. Also on this very powerful form, it's going to ask that on section 4B about your income information for single borrowers and married borrowers treated as single. So about your income information, it's going to ask, have your income significantly decreased since you filed your last federal income tax return? In that area on number 7, for me, that's no. So because I'm checking no, then it's going to say, now provide your most recent federal income tax return or transcript. You have to attach an attachment of that information so they can have legal documents to verify your income to determine on what your monthly bill would be for the income-driven repayment plan. Again, you just thoroughly read through the document. This application is about 4 pages long. And then you read it, you answer the questions, and then at the very end, it's going to require for the borrower to sign. They're going to sign in date at the bottom. And once you have thoroughly done all of that every year, this is going to be due. Because the service provider, when you create your account, they'll send you alerts on when it's due again, but I'm going to pay attention to my due dates. So at the very end, when you have filled all of this out and attach that income tax transcript or your income tax return, then you're going to upload this into your account so the service provider can process this information. Once they process this information, they'll send you the status of this application, letting you know what your monthly school loan bill would be. That's going to qualify for you to be in the loan forgiveness program. This is document number 1. When based on what your objective is, make sure you are filling out the correct application, because if you fill out the wrong application based on the objective, they're going to kick it back, and then that's going to waste time. Document number 2, and I'm here to tell you, the employment certification form, which has to be done every year. This is another form that has to be done every year that ties into the federal student loan forgiveness program. And it literally says on here, because they got to certify your employment every year. Employment, it literally says employment certification form. The other form was the income-driven repayment form. This determines how much you're going to pay. This form, the purpose of this form is to verify that you are working for a qualified employer that's going to also tie into tracking your qualifying payments. So the income certification form, self-explanatory. You're going to do your name, date of birth, etc., basic demographics. And also on the employment certification form, it also says, too, on here, I understand that to qualify for public student loan forgiveness, I must make 120 qualifying payments on my direct loan while employed full-time by a qualified employer. Neither 120 qualifying payments nor the employment has to be consecutive, but at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, the numbers got to match. Another important piece about the employment certification form on the second page is self-explanatory. It's going to ask, number 1, your employer name. Number 2, your federal employer identification number, that FEIN. That information can be obtained from on your pay stub, or you can go to HR to get that federal employer identification number. Number 3, employer address. Number 4, employer website, if any. Number 5, which is very important, your employment begin date. And number 6 is going to ask employment end date. On number 6, for whatever reason, make sure when it asks for your employment end date, on that line, very big, print still employed, and also check still employed. For whatever reason, they just want to see the word still employed written out on that line. And even though you're checking it, you want to make sure that they do not miss that you are still employed with a qualified employer. Hours worked per week, 40, because you got to be full time. So as you go through this application, it's questions on here. You're going to thoroughly read it and answer the questions. Section 4 of the employment certification, you got to take this part to HR and have them fill out section 4, which is employer certification to be completed by the employer. It said the official name, the official phone number, the official title, and the official email, authorized official signature, and date. This is how they verify that you are still working for a qualified employer for the employment certification that ties into counting towards all of your, not just your qualifying payments, but also the qualifying employer. And on the next part of this, on the front part of the first page, you're gonna sign and date your name, and then you're gonna upload this to your account in the applicable area, and then the federal student service provider will process this application. And when they are done with the outcome of the application, they will send you a letter and let you know that these are that your qualified employer it counts, that the amount of time that you have worked at this employer, all of those time count. Is going to tie into helping you reach your 120, not just qualifying payments, but it's going to also keep the clock moving, heading towards loan forgiveness discharge. And I'm here to tell you, this form also has to be done every single year. Your service provider, a few months before the due date is due, they may send you a reminder, but I'm not going to wait on the doggone reminder. I'm tracking my own due dates, because if you miss these due dates, it can have an impact on slowing down the process. And I'm here to tell you, the third form. This third form ties into two purposes. Many people get these forms mixed up. This third form ties into two powerful purposes. And then this form is titled the Public Service Loan Forgiveness and Temporary Expanded PSLF. That ties into that waiver, where the federal government, with this application, they are saying that borrower request understanding and certification. This temporary waiver ties into where the federal government is now, for a limited time, and I think the deadline is like October of 2022 to get this application in, so the federal government can go in and assess your account to see, do you qualify for payments made historically in the past. They're now counting all of those payments, even if you were not in the program, but they can see where you made those payments. So the purpose of this limited waiver is to go in where they can go in and assess your account to see, can you qualify for payments that otherwise would not have counted it. I submitted this application, and I'm gonna tell you what the outcome was. When they went in to assess my account, they credited me 18 payments that otherwise would not have counted it. And when they did that powerful move, those 18 payments bumped me up to meeting all of my eligibility May of 2023 versus December of 2024. So when May of 2023 come, I will be met all requirements, and the remaining balance of my master's degree will be zeroed out. So it's power in submitting this application before the deadline, this limited waiver. And on here, it says that I'm requesting that I just want to find out how many qualifying payments I have made, or if my employer is a qualified employer. So they're going to go in and check. Another area you can check for the reason of submitting this waiver is, I believe I qualify for forgiveness under the Public Student Loan Forgiveness Program right now. So when May of 2023 come, I got to go in and submit this application, because I'm going to check box number 2, that I believe I qualify for forgiveness for the public student loan forgiveness program when May of 2023 come. They're not going to automatically forgive my loan when May of 2023 come, because I first got to submit the application so they can go in and forgive the loan based off this application. So this application serves 2 purposes: for them to check to see, do you qualify for payments that otherwise would not have qualified, or when you have reached your benchmark, your 120 qualified payments, you got to also send this application in. So trust me, when May 1st, better yet, when the end of the end of April of 2023, I will be submitting my application, because when May 1st hit, I want them to already have my application already submitted so they can do their magic. And once they have processed this application, they will send you the outcome, letting you know the status. So also, I understand to qualify for forgiveness, I must have made 120 qualified payments on my direct loans while employed full-time by a qualified employer. So neither the 120 qualified payments nor employment has to be consecutive. I also understand by submitting this form, my student loan held by the department may be transferred to Mohela. Because as everybody is aware, Fed Loan is no longer going to be servicing federal student loans. They're transferring it to a new service provider. The forms remain the same because these are federal forms. So understand that if you hold a federal student loan, make sure you pay attention to those email alerts when they're notifying you that your federal student loan has been transferred to Mohela. And then you're going to have to go in and set up a new username and password under the new service provider. Pay attention to the detail, and I'm here to tell you. So that's the purpose of this form. And also on this form, similar to the employment certification, this is where a lot of people get confused. Also, on the limited waiver form or the discharge form, on the second page is again, it's going to ask you for your employer name, the federal employer identification number, employer address, employment begin date, employment end date on that line. You make sure you write out the word still employed so they can see that. And then check still employed full-time, self-explanatory. Make sure you thoroughly read this, because if you fill it out wrong, they're going to kick it back out. So when my time comes for my loan to be forgiven, I'm going to go in probably about a month before May of 2023 hit, and I'm going to submit this application requesting that they go in and discharge my loan, and they will send me a letter saying your bill now is zeroed out. You know, I have a friend of mine who met all the requirements when she submitted this form, and when they processed it, they sent her a powerful letter saying the remaining balance of your master's degree has been zeroed out. You owe nothing. And audience, I'm here to tell you, her remaining balance was $70,000+ that was zeroed out. And when that bill was zeroed out, it had a direct impact on raising her credit score with Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. This is powerful information that ties into freeing up money. It ties into getting rid of that school debt so you can have financial freedom in all areas of your life. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is real. You know, all my life, I have always paid attention to detail. And, you know, I talk to a lot of people in the natural environment. They literally do not have a clue about any 3 of these forms. They really don't. They have no clue about any 3 of these forms. They haven't even looked at them. Better yet, read them. They have no idea about the 3 different forms for 3 different objectives that ties into the federal student loan debt. They have no idea that they can enroll in this program, and once they meet all the qualified payments, the remaining balance of that degree can be zeroed out, so they will not have to be in debt for the rest of their life. Parents, first of all, educate yourself. Educate your adult children. I went back to school in my mid to early to mid 40s to get my master's degree. And if the audience is aware that this time next year, I will be 100% retired. And I have deliberately, for the past several years, put myself on the trajectory path to have zero debt when I retire. Yeah, I still have, food bill and gas bill and utility bills and insurance, but I will not have debt such as a mortgage. I will not have debt such as a school loan, credit cards, personal loans, because I want to enjoy the rest of my life without having to worry about paying all these excessive bills. Get rid of your debt at any age, but especially if you're heading towards retirement, get rid of your debt so you can do things on your bucket list. I'm going to do a little bit more traveling. I'm going to have time to free up to cultivate my YouTube channel. I'm going to have time to really, really align myself to market my book with my publishing company to get royalties, passive income from my book. When my YouTube channel monetized, that'll be passive income from my YouTube channel on top of 3 retirement checks, because it's more to life. And I'm here to tell you, it's more to life at any age. I don't care if you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, or older, or being bogged down by so much debt, you can't even enjoy a vacation. You can't even enjoy taking a weekend trip. You can't even enjoy, just sleeping in every day and having knowing inside of you that you ain't got to go hit nobody's time clock because you ain't got no money to pay your bills. And I'm here to tell you, this book link into what I just talked about, financial freedom. This book also ties into empowering yourself to control your money, to master your money. It's never too late, and I'm here to tell you. Check out this book. My book, Awake Financial Freedom, is a powerful testimony. I have an area in this book where I talk about my federal student loan. I talk about in my book literally on how the best financial decision that I could have ever made in my life was enrolling in this federal student loan program. I literally talk about this in my book. This book is a powerful testimony when I dove deep to show my vulnerability and dove deep on how I literally came out of financial destruction to the position where I can retire next year. I did not learn these skills in undergrad. I did not learn these skills in graduate school. I did not acquire this knowledge from my parents or grandparents, because all they knew, God bless their soul, is how to get up and go to work and work yourself to death without a penny to fall back on. This book is real. This book can be purchased on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Apple iTunes, Google Play. Once you have purchased this powerful book to enlighten yourself, go in on the particular platform and do an honest review. I want to thank Page Publishing Company from the bottom of my heart for transforming my manuscript that I spent about a year and a half transforming my manuscript, blood, sweat, and tears into a finished product. I'm going to continue to align myself with that publishing company. We got some phenomenal things in the near future to market this book. They're going to line up a radio interview. I'm going to collaborate with them. This book pretty soon in the near future will be available in auto-tune. This book, just like I spent almost a year and a half writing my manuscript, for the rest of my life, I'm going to spend time marketing this book. I'm going to spend time marketing my book because I will get passive income for the rest of my life. And I'm here to tell you, that's what empowering yourself is. Passive income in my sleep. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. Anybody can start a social media platform. Anybody can write a book, because we all have knowledge, skills, abilities. We have all gone through something. We have all got a story. But at a certain point, we got to rise above that. And we got to rise above those struggles. We got to rise above those stories to the point where we can impart knowledge onto the world, where we can share our experience to the world, because somebody may be able to gain something from this. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have. My spirit guided me to delve deep and take it to this level. If you have any questions, have any comments, send me your comments, send me your questions. Hit that subscribe button right now. And I challenge all of my supporters and my subscribers to share my channel with one person that you know who can benefit from even one of my topics and get them to subscribe. And I'm here to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. Simplify, Simple Fidelis, and I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great evening.